Do you know what one of these are? I hope so. It'll help with the illustration. Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of the day it is for you, and welcome back to Edify. And I've got an interesting verse I want to share with you today. It is from the book of Jeremiah in chapter 48 and verse 10. And let me read it to you so I don't miss anything, okay? Oh, let me get my Bible right here. Jeremiah chapter 48, verse 10 reads like this: Cursed, or cursed if you want to be Old English, cursed be he that doeth the work of the Lord deceitfully, and cursed be he that keepeth back his sword from blood. Okay, I'm good. So what's the context of this verse? Let's start out there, okay? Well, the context of this verse is pretty simple. It's in the book of Jeremiah. Jeremiah, one of the major prophets in the Old Testament. Jeremiah is giving a warning of judgment that is coming upon the Moabites, the country of Moab, the people of Moab. And in this judgment, there is a warning given to those who are to carry out that judgment upon Moab. In other words, God is sending a people in. God is sending those in with swords to do the work of an avenging, judging God upon an evil, God-hating people. Now, we're not going to get into all the ins and outs of God and his judgment upon nations in the Old Testament. We'll talk about that type of stuff maybe in a future episode. But in this case, we need to understand that when God sent a person on a job, he expected them to do the job. Does that make sense? And especially those who he put in charge of or put in the place of carrying out God's work of judgment. And so that is why he says, Cursed be he that doeth the work of the Lord deceitfully, and cursed be he that keepeth back his sword from blood. So what does that mean here in this context? It means that there are going to be those who may, just on the outside chance, go around and say, well, I've been out there on the battlefield and I did my job. I went out there. Yeah, I was out there with the first, armored sword division, and I went out there and and I was in that battle over there with the Moabites, and yeah, it was tough. It was hard. I was there. And in reality, you might have been there, but you were just a spectator cowering behind a rock somewhere. And then it might just be that there would be somebody there who had a sword with a intended purpose of using it to draw blood and came back with it clean, never having been wiped down clean, just clean, never being used, not even a scratch, sheathed the whole time. God said, if I've given you a sword to use, then I expect there to be evidence of that sword being used. And if you don't do that, when you are operating on my behalf, because here the word work, cursed be he that doeth the work of the Lord deceitfully. This work is the work designed by God for the person to do. In other words, you're going on my behalf to do my work. So cursed be the one that is given the task to do this thing and then not do it. And even worse, cursed be he that keepeth back, holds back, withdraws back. Ooh, I don't want to do that. And says, even though I've got a sword, get it? See the parallels? Even though I've got a sword, I know how to use it. I've been trained. As a matter of fact, it's been issued to me. Might even have your name on it. Well, what's the evidence of it being used? Cursed be he that doeth the work of the Lord deceitfully. Cursed be he that withdraweth, that doesn't use his sword for the intended purpose. Is it a paperweight? Or is it a weapon of righteousness? How do you use it? Well, I'd say we need to be using it how God has told us to use it, right? Think about that one. Well, God bless you. Thank you for watching, and I hope that you'll come back tomorrow for another episode of Edify.